Good Wednesday morning, everyone. I'm Kelly Knapp.
And I'm Lee Barrows.
And I'm Rayford Brown.
How's
Feels-
everybody
And I
doing?
guess that's enough. Let's say goodbye now.
Feels like Friday for some
It
reason.
does.
Well, it kind of is a Friday for those. This time, for the first time in a long, long time, we're actually here on Live and Local going to take Friday off.
Mhm.
So to enjoy, let all of us enjoy and maybe recover some and get back ready for bigger and better things following the Thanksgiving time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess we're gonna have to start. Unfortunately, I hate doing this, but we got to start it off with tragic news.
Yes.
For those of you who are just waking up, you haven't turned the TV on yet, or you haven't been watching all night long. A mass shooting. This one at a Walmart in Chesapeake, Virginia, sometime after 10 o'clock last night. 7 people dead, including the shooter. A bunch of others hurt, and they're still trying to make heads or tails out of what occurred. There's not a lot of who or how or why. That's all being unraveled as we speak because it's only been what 8 hours, something
Yeah.
like that, 9 hours
Yeah.
since it happened, and with that much carnage, the investigation is going to have to be very methodical. So it's a tragic situation. Some people call it another senseless act. Yeah, absolutely, it's a senseless act by one person. And it's a shame that one person draws this much attention. Um, don't know exactly how that one person died. It was apparently by gunshot.
hmm
Don't know whether it was a law enforcement involved shooting, whether he did it himself, which is so often the case, because these guys are cowards all along. They just like to try to make a name for themselves, and then they take themselves out. Don't know that. Don't know whether it was a good Samaritan, a concealed carry person inside the store, perhaps.
Right.
Either way, 6 innocent people are dead, and a lot of others are injured. And tragedy going into the holiday season, just 2 days before Thanksgiving and about a month before Christmas. Now it's time for the Democrats to stand up and dust off their campaign platforms again, and that's they've already started. A lot of them had things to say overnight.
I'm sure.
And yes, I agree, and I'm not one of those, but I totally agree. Enough is enough, and until the time that we start punishing those who commit these crimes or commit any kind of crimes and make their lives absolutely miserable, it's going to continue until we get some enforcement of the laws that are on the books. You can put all the laws on the books that you want, but believe me, they won't make a better difference unless you actually enforce them. That enforcement starts with the police department, it continues through the judicial system, and if there's anyone who goes to any courts in this country on a regular basis, or even a very irregular basis, like I do, because I haven't had to lately, except a couple of 3 weeks ago, I'm disgusted what occurs. Let's make a deal. That's what it is. Let's make a deal. You plead guilty, and we'll drop all these other charges against you. I watched it where one guy charges were dropped, including the possession of a gun with the serial number cut off. Really? So he ended up with a couple of misdemeanors, got no jail time, and he promises to be good. Following him very closely because he's going to screw up. There's not a doubt in my mind. There are not that many people in jail, not that many people who have been arrested, are being arrested, who have not been arrested before and convicted. They just generally are convicted of a lesser crime just because it's easier to do. You don't have to try them. They'll plead guilty to that. Sorry, not the way to do it. Do the crime, you're going to do the time.
That's right.
Anyway, that's a disgusting thing that's happened overnight. I'm sure all of the details will come out, the actual facts. Right now, there's just so much basic information that there's not a lot of answers yet.
Yes.
Don't
Yep.
know whether they're one of the reports are saying they were not able to confirm yet. That means they think something, they've heard something that the employee may be an employee of the store. The shooter may have been an employee of the store. Those are the kinds of reports that, okay, well, that's an unanswered question because it's an open question that nobody has an answer to. Then why even throw it out there as a question?
Interesting.
That's
Uh-uh.
ridiculous. So anyway,
Well,
it is Wednesday. It's the day before Thanksgiving, a day that we all should be giving our thanks for being here. And a lot of us have a lot more to be thankful for this year. And so things happen.
Well, Rayford, did you see the Ohio man that was charged by the FBI and the DOJ? He's 21. Was charged with threatening to. Now he's in Ohio, but he was threatening to shoot up a middle school in California. Made a video. This ought to be almost on Dumb Crook News. Made a video on YouTube of himself shooting his laptop up. And with a now you're gonna laugh at this characterization, an Uzi style weapon. I mean, you know how that goes. And
an Uzi style
that's
weapon.
literally what's written in this from the
Oh, my
DOJ. The video shows an Uzi style weapon being discharged in rapid succession and multiple shots fired from a rifle style weapon. The video was titled "Torture Testing a Chromebook, Washington Middle School," and he got the laptop there because his siblings went to that school. This kid's 21. He made direct threats to the school. He said he's going to return. He has filled out a list of people at that school that have wronged him throughout the years in the Salinas High School district and the middle school. Then he takes a screwdriver and stabs the laptop repeatedly, shouts out, "Washington Middle School, you are next," then shot it 3 times with other guns. So the FBI raided this idiot's house, found all the weapons, and arrested his butt. Oh my!
Not guilty by reason of insanity.
him
Nobody's that
a
stupid.
mental
So he has to be
evaluation.
insane.
I just
I don't know. I've wanted to shoot my laptop in the past.
yeah, but you're not threatening middle schools and a list of people that have wronged you. So
I once threw a brand new printer out the door onto the driveway.
I've
I'm
kicked a
about ready
printer.
to do that now. I think we got one.
Yeah.
And it's one of those intermittent printers.
Sounds like
Every
mine.
now and then it prints.
It works.
And the rest of the time it doesn't. And
Mine will
I've
do
even
that.
downloaded new drivers and everything, and it still doesn't work.
I go to hit print and it doesn't do anything, and it just says printer's busy. And then about 2:00 in the morning, I hear this noise in the house, and it's my printer going off.
That would be a good reason to shoot it right
Yes.
there.
Well,
It was making noise in the middle of the night, Your Honor. Nobody else is living with bang, bang.
Well, that's like Alexa talking in the middle of the night.
That's why we hadn't hooked ours.
Woo.
I haven't had that happen here, but and Robbie's got about 14 of those little Alexa things running around the house here.
Yeah.
I think some of them are on wheels. They get out on the floor and crawl around. But anyway, they go off from time to time. During the day, it's probably really good that she's probably got something built into them so they don't do that while it's dark outside. Because when I come out, there's strange noises from somewhere. I'm not just getting up in bed and saying, "Hey, who's out there?" No, no, no.
You're cautiously sneaking around the corner.
Yeah, that could be a really, really, really bad thing. All right, we got a bunch to talk about this morning, and I got a extended commentary with some pertinent details. I'm going to do this one a little bit different today because I want interaction. I want those what do they call that? Interactive type commentaries from you and Kelly.
Okay.
I want the two of you to be involved as you listen to me. Don't wait for me to finish up. I will pause, and then you will have time to make comments about different portions of it.
Oh Lord. Okay.
At the very end, I'll open up the phone lines, but I'll give you some cautions about don't get on there just to be a negative person towards something that I'm saying, or you disagree with the wordage, the verbiage that I use, or whatever, because that's ridiculous. I have my way. I do. You know that when I push your buttons, one or two of you, that you wouldn't jump on there and try to rebut what I've got to say just because you don't like my terminology. Well, get over that. That's not acceptable, and I'll hang up on you. It's that simple. If you've got issues with the issues, let's talk about it. But just because you want to challenge whether an illegal alien is an illegal alien, get over it. It's not going to happen. No room for that discussion in this situation today. So we'll be talking about that sometime this morning. Now, let's go down to Louisiana. Lord.
Lad.
A Catholic priest
Oh gosh.
who was caught having sex with two dominatrices on the altar of his Louisiana church has pleaded guilty to felony obscenity, according to local reports there. 39-year-old Travis Clark entered the plea as part of an agreement with prosecutors this past Monday. He received a suspended 3-year sentence and will serve 3 years of supervised probation. He was ordered to pay a $1,000 fine. Clark's defense attorney said the ex-priest, he's now ex, had already paid $8,000 in restitution to the Archdiocese of New Orleans after the altar was declared desecrated and ordered to be burned and replaced.
Oh my.
So many things
I'm
I can
trying to
say.
do this with a straight face, but
You can't make this stuff up. I mean,
so his lawyer is saying he shouldn't have to pay $1,000 penalty. He's already had to pay $8,000 to get a new altar. No, that's not what the law is about, Bubba.
mhm.
Clark was caught in the act at St. Peter's and Paul Catholic Church in Pearl River a couple of years back when a passerby saw him through a window engaged with two high-heeled, corseted women. Do they make corsets still? I didn't know that.
They make them.
The trio appeared to be filming themselves.
Oh my.
Oh God, I looked at the pictures of them. Okay. Sex toys and stage lights were recovered at the scene by police along with recording devices. He had his own studio, his porn studio. What the world was he going to do with this? Put it out on the porn market for sale?
Well, I'm trying to figure
Pay
out
per view?
I'm trying to figure out how this is a crime.
Well,
If they weren't out in public, I mean, they were inside the building. I'm just curious.
I don't guess he has right to do it.
I mean,
Misdemeanor counts of institutional vandalism and sentenced to probation. Institutional vandalism. I guess that could be the same thing if you did it at a school.
yeah.
Well, I guess
I think it's a stretch, but okay. I mean,
well, it worked.
well, Rayford, Lee just showed me the pictures. Oh my.
It's scary. I guess it gives whole new
my.
meaning to passing around the collection plate. Huh?
Oh my.
Oh my gosh.
The girl on the right
There-
definitely looked like a
There's some painted
dominatrix.
eyebrows on that one chick.
I've
She
heard of
was-
fantasies before where that one is
Eyelashes.
really. Oh yeah, she
looked like a
scary.
dominatrix. She's a creepy.
Well,
individual.
he doesn't
don't-
even look like a reverend though, does he?
Well, not in that picture.
I mean, it looks like a meth head or something. I don't know.
Yikes.
I don't know what a dominatrix looks like, Kelly. Is there something you need to talk to us about?
I had a client that was a
you know?
dominatrix. I had a client once that was a
Oh, really?
dominatrix.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I can see where this
Yeah.
day is
And
going.
they come to see you,
Yeah.
and they choose you as a my.
They were coming to therapy.
Stage lights. They had stage lights and sex toys.
Well, they were filming it. They
Yeah.
were probably making a video.
Yeah, I would replace. I would burn the altar down
Mhm.
and rebuild a new one.
And Catholic altars are fancy. So I'm surprised it was
Yes.
only $8,000.
Wow.
Oh my.
Can you imagine the poor passerby? I bet they was fit to be tied. Oh my! I bet
Wonder how
they.
long it took him to
You're like,
report
what
it.
did I
That's
just
all
see?
wonder.
Well, what made them? The door must have been locked, and they looked in the window. But how could you see in the window? That's weird because most Catholic churches are stained glass.
Yeah,
Well,
or very distorted windows,
Yeah,
but they
yeah.
got some little slits in them
Yeah,
that you can
that's
see through.
true.
So wonder how long it took the guy to make the call.
Or
911. Oh, this
what,
I've
what do
been
you do?
watching
You
this
call
for
the
the last two
police
and a
and
half
say,
hours.
"Hey, the priest is having sex with these two black leather clad women with whips." And
could you be the 911 operator that got that call? Like, excuse me?
I'm gonna tell you what, I give a lot of
I had to
props
put
to a
that on
911
speaker.
operator
Yes.
because they hear all kinds of stuff. Those people, that's one job right there that they're not paid enough.
No,
All I've got to
not
say
at
is,
all.
oh, holy, holy.
Yeah. I bet the
Holy moly.
archdiocese was like, yikes.
Oh,
Yeah, I bet there's some. I
God.
bet
Mhm,
there's some takeover of that church for a while
mhm. Oh
from
yeah,
higher authorities.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Okay,
Well,
guess we better take a break.
okay.
yeah.
Come
Let's
back.
take a break.
I'll tell you about
I
some.
need to go scrub my
I
eyes.
know.
Rayford,
You can scratch my
she
corneas.
showed me that picture. Yeah, let's take a break.
Okay.
Oh my word! All right, we're live and
Hey, we'll
local,
come
real
back. I'll tell you
talk.
about some specials at Tide Marine too.
Oh, good.
Yes,
Good,
some
good.
good news. Yes. Okay, we're live and local, real talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. And we are back and ready to do some weather.
Yeah, absolutely. And down at Tideline Marine, I want you to make a note of it for today and Friday. They're closed tomorrow. Tideline Marine closes every Thanksgiving, so they're closed all day tomorrow. But today and tomorrow and Friday, you got some special stuff, some things on sale for every $20 you spend in the gift shop. There's a gift shop upstairs there. A lot of you don't know it. You haven't ever been in there. But if you run in, look upstairs, and if you find $20 worth of special stuff in the gift shop, uh, $20 worth will get you a free gift. They're going to give you a free gift.
Ooh.
In addition, all of the items in the gift shop are on sale, 20% off all gift shop items today and Saturday. Today, well, they'll be open again Saturday, of course. $5 off next purchase with any in-store purchase. If you buy something, you'll get $5 off your next in-store purchase. You got it?
Got it.
Florida fishing products. They have Tideline is now carrying their fishing reels. Florida fishing products reel giveaway on Black Friday. No purchase necessary. In-store entry only. You've got to come in. I would suggest today, if you're driving about, you're doing your last minute this or that or these or those, stop by. Just sign up. You don't have to buy anything. You can come back later and shop if you want to. If you want to shop now, you can save some money, of course. But if you come back at some point in time today or early Friday morning and sign up, there will be a drawing later in the day on Friday, and lucky winner of a Florida fishing products reel. Black Friday, $10 off Florida fishing products reels all day long. Black Friday and Saturday. Buy two power pole. This is big now for you guys who know what power poles are. If you buy two of them, two of the power pole Pro Series 8-foot black ones, you get $200 off. This is only good for in stock items that they've got ready to go, ready to sell. Also, Friday and Saturday, if you only need one power pole, one trolling motor. If you need one trolling motor, which is what most people want, you get $100 off any in stock trolling motor. Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street, on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville.
And today, north winds 10 to 15 knots, becoming northeast around 15 knots this afternoon, seas 2 to 4 feet, dominant period 8 seconds, adjacent sounds and rivers with a moderate chop. Tonight, northeast winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet, dominant period 6 seconds. Thursday, northeast winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet, dominant period 6 seconds. Friday, southeast winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 4 to 5 feet, except 3 to 4 near the shore. And Saturday, northeast winds 10 to 15 knots, becoming east in the afternoon and then becoming southeast in the evening, becoming south 15 to 20 knots after midnight. Seas 4 to 8 feet.
Today, mostly cloudy, then becoming sunny, high of 65. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 44. Tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day, partly sunny, high of 67. Oh, that's nice. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 52. It's going to rain on Black Friday. It will be cloudy with a high of 69, though. So it won't be chilly. It'll just be rainy.
Yeah, rainy. So it's a good day to go shopping at Tideline on a Friday.
Yep.
I've been upstairs to that gift shop. Now, that's
They
got
got
some
lots of
really
stuff there.
cool stuff up there.
Mhm. They got cute
Yeah,
stuff.
you can pick up some stuff on sale right now that if you don't have anybody to give it to this year, and you don't want it yourself for any reason, you can certainly save it, and give it to people for Christmas, Christmas, their birthdays,
Birthdays?
anniversaries, or
Yes.
whatever.
Mhm.
There's all sorts of
Yes, they
things
got
you
some
can
really
do there.
cool stuff up there.
Yeah. So, let's see what else is going on. There's a bunch of news out there, and some of it's not so good. Some of it's to me hilarious, and I'm going to talk to my fellow journalists out there for a minute. I used to be a real journalist, but I'm not anymore. You thought that because you were a liberal reporter that the Biden family was going to welcome you with open arms to the Biden White House wedding? You were a fool. Reporters are calling out the Biden administration today, claiming they were misled regarding press access to the White House wedding of the president's granddaughter. They were not misled, they were lied to. And the lies were in the form of promises that the Bidens never intended to honor in the first place, as it is with Uncle Joe's promises to America. Members of the White House press corps, those guys that, kissed Biden's butt, they were waved off coverage for Naomi Biden and Peter Neal's wedding and told that the event was now private. However, on Tuesday, yesterday, Vogue revealed via a special digital cover that it was given exclusive access to lavishly photograph the event. As it turned out, it took pictures days before the actual wedding. They staged a rehearsal photo event just for Vogue, as long as Vogue got special treatment. Well, my fellow journalists, you have no right to cover a private ceremony if the family doesn't want you there. Period. I would think that this would make you question everything this president has told you or promised you. I would also think that if this is an event at the White House as opposed to a White House event, they're two different things. The Bidens will be paying for everything. Love to see how much this costs the taxpayers. Again, an event at the White House, the president can pay for, and it can be a private event. If it's a White House event, then you and I pay for it.
That's right.
And then it should be open to for press coverage, if nothing else. I'm also kind of thinking that maybe Vogue magazine should list themselves as a campaign contributor for such a lavish deal that they're getting. Lord, exclusive rights to it. Well, first of all, I don't know that many people that really give a rat's rear end if his granddaughter's getting married or not in the White House. I don't. So I don't think that's a big calling card. But for some people, I guess it is. I won't be buying the magazine. Don't care.
I don't think I've ever bought one.
Well,
first of all, their
I'm
fashion
sure I
is
haven't. I've seen them,
strange.
but I've never bought one.
Their fashion is so strange.
Got some sad news.
Oh, no.
Here too. Two men in a television. This gets home to me, of course. Two men in a television news helicopter killed when the chopper crashed in Charlotte yesterday.
Yeah.
The victims included the pilot and a meteorologist for WBTV.
Mm-hmm.
The crash happened just after noon, prompting authorities to shut down the southbound lanes along Interstate 77. The helicopter is a single-engine Robinson 44, known as a Roby 44. It's a four-seater chopper. I have flown a number of times in this same type of helicopter in the past. Worldwide, since 2001, the R-44 has been involved in crashes that caused 369 fatalities. A federal regulation, you ready for this? A federal regulation that applies to the four-seat R-44 and the smaller R-22, that's a two-seater model, requires pilots and pilot instructors to have specific abnormal and emergency procedures flight training. What? They have to go through, because you're flying apparently a high-risk bird, you have to go through abnormal and emergency procedures flight training. R-44s were involved in 42 fatal crashes in the U.S. from 2006 to 2016, more than any other civilian helicopter.
Yikes.
I don't fly. I've flown in both of them. I heard the R-44 that I was supposed to be flying in. I heard the pilot calling Mayday because they put me on the smaller bird to fly on something I had to do. And they put me on the smaller bird. I was flying in the R-22. And when the R-44 that I was supposed to be on went in, had a hard landing, it crashed. People were injured, but not killed. I don't fly those anymore.
Mm-mm.
A couple from Illinois was killed Saturday when their plane crashed near the Smith Reynolds Airport in Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
The pilot, one of the victims, radioed the tower that he was having engine trouble and he was going to circle the airport before trying to land the Piper twin Comanche fixed-wing airplane. The aircraft didn't make the full turn and the plane crashed into a residential area. No one on the ground was injured. The couple were from Freeburg, Illinois. Got some speculation that the killer who murdered 4 people near the University of Idaho more than a week ago may have been a peeping Tom. stalking out his victims.
Wow.
A 6-room home near the campus was occupied by 3 couples, but the killer only managed to sneak in and stab to death those in 2 of the rooms. FBI agents and other investigators have spent a lot of time in the wooded area on a bluff overlooking the house in recent days. They've examined numerous locations, checking to see how much of the home could be seen from the possible hiding sites. Now, 9 days later, the police have no suspects and, more concerning, no motive
Mm-mm.
for the murders.
Scary.
If this is a peeping Tom, uh, they're not as nonviolent as you might think.
Agreed.
They're just waiting for an opportunity quite often. Sometimes they're just sick, perverted people.
Mhm.
But there have been any number of attacks in some here in Onslow County. It started out as peeping Tom incidents over in New River, in the housing area there. There was one guy, he almost got caught a bunch of times. Police were always trying to catch him. Neighbors staked out areas watching him. And you know, that area had a lot of Marines living there. And they were they were trying to catch him. And finally one night in a foot pursuit with one of Jacksonville's finest, this was the day when there were clotheslines everywhere. He ran into one trying to get away.
I remember the story about the peeping Tom many, many years ago.
He literally got clotheslined.
Oh, yes.
Look, that hurts. I did that as a kid once. I'm gonna tell you what, that'll just rock
I
your
watched
world.
my brother do that. And
I did that when we were playing
Oh,
and hide and seek, and I was running. And I don't even know how I managed to do it. I knew it was right there, but yeah. So I will
well,
go on record saying that hurts.
it
well,
does.
in his case, I enjoyed going over there to process that scene. That was funny.
Mhm.
Laugh my butt off at his expense all the way through.
Oh,
Well, Rayford, I got a story for you real quick, and we haven't said anything about it, and I didn't really
Okay.
read it till today, actually this morning. But you said back at in Oklahoma this past weekend at a marijuana farm,
Oh,
4
yeah,
people were killed.
I saw that.
And
What in
they
the
were
world?
here's the thing, they were Chinese nationals,
Yes,
and they were killed by a Chinese
Chinese
national.
national.
He was apprehended yesterday in Tennessee. I mean
What
in Florida. I'm
in
sorry, in
Oklahoma?
Florida. Yeah.
What
Um
in the world at a grow farm? What in the world? I guess that
well, my
I,
question becomes,
I don't get it.
Is the Republic of China running this grow farm? Because it's a 10-acre
Yeah,
farm.
apparently.
Yeah. So that, I mean, that in itself should be concerning that we've got, these were not American citizens. These were Chinese nationals that said they were Chinese citizens. So
Mhm.
we've got citizens from other countries coming to our country and operating marijuana grow farms.
Now, here's the one thing that I don't did not pick up from the story.
Hmm.
There are 2 different types of marijuana grow farms.
Yeah.
One is the kind that can produce legally.
Yeah.
One is the kind that knows Bubba Joe and his friends out here growing some pot to sell. Now,
Well,
did it state? Did you read it anywhere where you decided which one it was?
they're still looking, matter of fact, because the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drug Control is investigating because they've been targeting criminal growing and traffic of marijuana for the black market. But they don't
Mhm.
know if it was in Oklahoma, the Oklahoma state law requires that if it's a marijuana farm that they have a license from
Sure.
the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority. So what this Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drug Control is looking at is this a illegal marijuana farm or was it legal? And they do not know at this time.
Well, that would be the question I
But
have,
now
whether they
the
are legal or not.
the Medical Marijuana Authority claims that they have an active license, that business has an active medical marijuana license.
But were
Um,
they still trying to grow it and sell it on the black
yeah,
market
they don't, and
as pot?
that's what they're investigating. They don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And mainly, I think one of the things that I think, according to something I read that got their attention, was the fact that it was predominantly Chinese nationals that were working there.
And I'm just trying to wonder if it's a legal grow farm, but
Mhm.
they're selling it illegally.
Yeah,
Well, let's do one thing. If it's a legal grow farm, are they packaging the stuff and sending it to China for processing?
that's what was
Is that one
unclear.
thing?
I don't know. Doesn't say.
I, Okay, so and number
Yeah.
2, if it's a legal grow, but they're black marketing
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
where are they selling it?
Correct. And then becomes, are they putting fentanyl in it?
Well, that we've done in the process, post
Yeah.
pot days, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's when they end the pill production
Well,
in other
fentanyl has
areas
been
come
in
from.
marijuana even here. We had an overdose here in
Yeah, I
Onslow
know we
County
did.
earlier this year with fentanyl in marijuana, and a
Yeah.
teenager was injured
Yeah.
earlier this year. So it's fentanyl is such a, you know how I feel about that. It's a scary thing.
Yeah. It does. It takes
certainly
what,
is.
2 little grains of
Oh, it's
sand to
like
kill you?
nothing. And like I said, I'll say it again. Y'all wonder why I wear gloves or use a napkin at the gas pump, because fentanyl can be put on anything. That's why I wipe down my grocery carts when I go in stores, which I rarely do, but I do go in some. I will stand there and move out of everybody's way, so I'm not blocking the way, but I will wipe that down, because all you have to do is touch a little bit. You don't have to. It just a little bit gets on your skin. It goes in your system. Oh no. Mm-mm.
Well, there's
I
been stories of law enforcement officers
Well,
at a
yeah.
scene
I know a law
touching
enforcement
it.
officer that overdosed in a bust one time by
Right.
touching. They put
Touching
their
it.
hand down
Right.
on a table that had
Mhm.
fentanyl, that just had residue. It wasn't like fentanyl was spread all over it. They overdosed and had to be revived and almost died. Spent a week in the hospital.
That's why
Yeah.
you see so many now wearing the gloves,
I'd wear like
I
4 or 5 pair of
wonder
gloves.
having them in the.
I I wonder if there's anything like, ultraviolet lights or black lights or any of that kind of stuff that you could push shopping carts through
Oh, that's a
before
good idea.
that would sterilize them from one end to the other.
Probably, but the question would
I'm sure
become, what
Eggs would
cost
go up.
would the
prohibitive.
businesses pay to have it done? Now, if I owned a
Right.
business, I would, but
Right.
that's me. But
Can you imagine the drawing card for something like that,
yeah,
though?
yeah,
If it can be done feasibly,
yeah.
a big outlay, I'm sure, but every cart goes through a little cart stall, and as it goes through, it's in a completely enclosed location, and it gets the treatment.
Well, they would have to,
I don't know what the
Rayford,
treatment would
because
be, but I'd like to see it happen. That would be cool.
they make a cleaner, like a machine that cleans, it uses UV to clean your
Yeah.
cell phones with.
Yes, I
Because
know.
I actually
That's
want
what
one
I'm
for
saying.
Christmas. Robin, I need to put that on my Christmas list, by the way. I don't think I
Let me
did.
write that down,
Yeah.
and I'll be sure
Yeah,
to
because
tell
I
him.
want one of those. Yeah,
A
because
UV
let
cleaner.
me tell you one thing I've learned in all my autoimmune lupus journey and Sjogren's and all the other mess I seem to have developed, is I have learned from some of my doctors. It's, you would be surprised just on a daily basis. We probably wouldn't be. It's almost scary to think about what you are exposed to in the air, in general, and your cell phone. When you go places, you set them down like on restaurant tables. You
Oh
set them
yeah.
down at work. You set them down in your car. But things have gotten on your body just in walking around, and it transfers. And I never gave it any thought till I started having all these tests run, and now I'm borderline paranoid about it. But when I learned, when one of my doctors sat me down and just started talking about all the crap in the air, I mean, it makes you not want to leave your house, but you have to. I'm just
I'm not
saying.
going to Walmart at night.
No, I don't go during the day. What are you talking about?
Sure.
I hadn't set foot in the Walmart here in over 2 years.
I went not long ago, but that was only because I needed things, and it was the only place I could get it.
They do pick up, girl. They do pick up, and they deliver to your house.
But yeah, no,
Well,
there's
I
just
gotta
that's
go.
true.
I want to have to go next week.
I'm gonna have to go next week because I have someone I have to take to talk with Peter. So
Yeah,
it'll
me
be my
too. I'm
first.
going to
Yeah,
take me with him and talk to him.
it'll be my first foray in there. Lord, yeah.
I can
Yeah.
see you now. You need to get us a picture of what you look like when you go in.
You think I'm gonna have a hazmat suit on, don't you?
I
Yeah, let
do.
me know when you're going. I
Yeah.
want to see this.
Kelly's going. I think I'm gonna go Wednesday, just so y'all know. Yeah.
Okay.
There'll be people lined up with cameras,
All right.
Kelly walking in. Let's take a break.
You will be one of those. I'll see you on the Walmart and Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'll be
Picture
on that
Hall of
video.
Fame.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All
Break
right.
time.
Yeah, let's take a break. You want to do it, Rayford? You want to send us to the break?
You're live and local Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME, and we'll be right back.
And we are back. Rayford, you still there?
No,
Okay, you're here.
I took the morning off.
Yep, nice try. All right, so you're going to do your, are you waiting till after 8 or what are you
Yeah,
doing?
we'll do that. We'll do the commentary after 8 o'clock.
Okay,
So when
yeah.
people have some time to
Yeah.
tune in. But here's some news for you.
Okay.
Turkey Day news and whatever.
Mhm.
More than 370,000 pounds of food, including 9,155 whole turkeys and 41,745 pounds of roasted turkeys, and lots of trimmings have been delivered or are about to be delivered by Thanksgiving tomorrow to troops around the world. How about that?
Good.
That's a
That's
lot of
great.
food
Yeah,
we're
it is
sending
a
out.
whole
It
lot
is
That's
a lot
good.
of food.
Yeah, yeah.
Examples of some of the items members around the world will consume, whether they're in dining halls or they're aboard ships or their remote outposts. 41,000 pounds of beef, including 10,000 pounds for troops deployed in support of the Ukraine response. 23,970 pounds of ham, 8,600 pounds for troops supporting the Ukraine response, 17,884 pounds of shrimp. Now we're talking, including 2,200 pounds for the troops supporting the Ukraine response, 9,000 pounds of sweet taters, including 3,600 pounds for troops supporting the Ukraine response, 85,971 pounds of, you ready for this one? I hope you got a sweet tooth, pies and cakes.
Yum.
Well, I'm
85,000 pounds of pies and cakes.
well. You're leading
Oh,
into
and
something I was going to
and
ask you, Rayford.
2,274 gallons of eggnog.
Yeah, I had a client yesterday tell me they've already started their eggnog.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I had something pulled up to ask you, and I was going to put this out for you and the listeners. It's a question.
Shoot.
What is the most searched pie in North Carolina for Thanksgiving this year that people have searched recipes for?
Oh, search recipes.
Yep,
For
the most searched
okay.
pie of the one they want for Thanksgiving
Pecan.
in North
Sweet
Carolina.
potato.
So you
Sweet
said
potato
sweet
pie?
potato. Lee said pecan. Y'all are both wrong. Do you know what it is? You want to guess?
Apple pie.
Apple pie
Really?
in North
That would have been
Carolina.
my first guess, but I just figured it'd be sweet
Oh,
potato.
you can get apple pie.
I love a sweet potato pie now. Good
Oh,
gracious
me
alive.
too.
But yeah, I'm
But
gonna
I'll tell
actually
you
make a
what.
pumpkin pie. But yeah,
Now-
apple
now,
pie,
here's what
North
I'll say about
Carolina.
apple pie.
Mhm.
I love a good apple pie.
But that's like a
It's
summer
good
thing.
at any time.
Yeah.
It's best when you put vanilla ice cream, French
Mhm.
vanilla ice cream specifically on
I
top
agree
of
with
it.
that.
And
Yeah.
it's even bester, much
Mhm.
more bester,
Mhm.
if you add a little of Don Walton's apple pie moonshine to the top of that.
Ooh,
Very tasty.
I
I've
just
done that
happen to
too.
have
I
some.
did too.
My
Mhm.
goodness.
Mhm.
Oh, that gave me a thought.
Mhm.
Well, I know there's an ice cream out. It's by Turkey Hill. It's vanilla and it's got caramel swirled through it.
Oh, yummy.
And it's salted
Yum.
vanilla caramel. Now scoop of that on a pie.
I'll bet that'll be amazing.
Oh,
My word.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then
don't
some,
want to tell Robbie about that. She doesn't like pies, but if it's got caramel in it, sweet caramel, she'd probably eat it.
I love
yes.
caramel.
I've tried to
Yeah.
branch out on my ice cream.
I'm mad that apple pie was the most. That's just to me.
That's
apple
just
pie
so
is like a summer
everyday.
pie though too. I mean, I don't know. It's just me, but yeah,
Well, you got fall apples. This is a
I
perfect
know,
season
I
for
know, but
fresh
it's
apples.
just I don't associate apple pie with Thanksgiving. I never have, but
I don't either. I
No.
would have never thought
either
Thanksgiving.
pumpkin or sweet potato or both. And
Right.
yeah, so
Well, pumpkin, people just buy that ready mix in the can anymore. Just
Mhm.
dump it in the pie
Mhm.
shell. But
I do it that way.
yes,
I used to do it the old. That's just too much work.
yes,
Yeah.
I do it the
I'm
same
not-
way
I
you
do
do
the
it
easy
now
way.
too.
Yep.
Open up the can
I
and
just
pour
go
it
over
in.
to the frozen goods section and get some of that Dutch apple pie.
And they had
Dutch
them
cream
good
apple
sales
pie or
this
whatever it's
past
called.
week.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good.
Because I got pumpkin, I
Yeah.
got chocolate cream, and I got pecan, and
Yeah.
whatever else comes in the door.
See, I don't bake desserts. I don't generally do desserts, and I certainly don't cook them because I just don't know how to do it. And my dad told me one time years and years ago it was a good thing I did not bake things like pies and cakes. And I said, why? He says, because you'd fill it full of onions first. Well, that's
Yeah,
probably true.
I like onions.
Uh,
Well, I did
I
that
like
one year
onions.
when I first bought the house that I live in now. and many, many years ago. All my aunts and uncles were like, "When are you going to have a dinner? Invite us over." And I was like, "Okay, I'll have all the family over. You can see the house." So I went to the grocery store. I already planned out my menu, and I'll get a ham. And I look, and hams are already baked, and I'm like, "Oh well, that'll save me time."
Oh
And
no.
then there's like the already baked mashed potatoes, the already baked pies. Everything was already
Really?
baked that you could buy. And so I took it home and put it in different containers.
Oh no, you
Put
didn't.
an apron on, put a little flour on my cheek, a little flour on the apron. They were like, "Oh, you've worked so hard all day long." I said, "Anything for my aunts."
You're unreal.
Yeah,
Oh,
hey, it worked out. You couldn't tell the difference.
Oh, I know.
And I'm like, why do we spend hours upon hours upon hours of cooking for a huge meal? It takes us less than 30 minutes to eat it, and then you've got hours of cleanup.
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
No.
By the way, there is a My Sweet Vidalia onion pie
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
that sounds
recipe.
gross, Rayford.
I don't know. That
No,
might be kind
I
of
don't think
interesting.
so. You try it and you
I
let me
might
know
have to
how
give
that
that one a
tastes.
I
whirl. I
love
just
sweet
found out. Oh
Vidalias.
my!
Okay, you make that. You let me know because that just sounds
No,
disgusting.
Robbie can make it for us.
Yeah,
I'll come have a
sounds
piece.
gross.
I'll have to
Yeah.
say that one. I just Googled
No.
it just to see.
No.
Hey, you better break.
Yep, take a break. We're live and
Oh.
local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. And we are back.
Yes, we are. Just a reminder to everybody out there in Onslow County, the Jacksonville Police Department is cracking down on seatbelt use
Mhm.
during the North Carolina Governor's Highway Safety Program Thanksgiving Click It or Ticket. And that runs through November 27th. So make sure you wear that seatbelt.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
very. They also will have some checking stations going on through the weekend. Jacksonville Police, Highway Patrol. They do that this time of year, and they're looking as ostensibly it started out looking for DWIs. The good news is they were getting fewer and fewer DWIs at these checkpoints, so people were getting the message. That's good. The other thing that I found interesting, they were picking up a lot of people, a whole heap of a lot of people who did not have insurance on their cars and their driver's license
Yes.
had been revoked. Well, they're all out there driving among us. Now, when you to get your driver's license revoked, most often it's because you failed a sobriety test before and you have a conviction on your record for DWI, but you still continue to drive. Now, let me explain this to you for your second offense. Even if you don't have even if you're not driving while impaired, you're driving with a revoked license that was revoked because you were driving impaired. You can rest assured your honor, his honor, is going to take that into serious consideration when the time comes. And then you add onto that the idiots that drive around and they got at 2 o'clock in the morning now, they got their kids in the car with them and they don't have them restrained in a car seat.
There's no excuse for that.
His honor does not take kind to that either.
Those parents should go straight to jail.
Mhm.
When they stop a
No.
vehicle like that, I haul them off to jail.
Yep. Well, there's it's there are lots of little things like that that can happen out there. They also pick up people smoking dope when they pull up
Yeah.
to the spot. When you roll your window down and you've
Yeah.
been smoking
He
some of the
comes
weed
rolling
inside the
out.
car, there's not a whole lot of other evidence that's needed to pull you over and get you out of the car. That's called probable cause
For a
or
search. Yes.
smellable cause.
Yes.
But
Yes. Well,
it,
let me tell you, Rayford, the other day I had groceries delivered to the house,
uh-huh.
and the bags reeked of marijuana.
Really?
Yeah, it was bad. It was real bad.
Smoking a joint in the car.
More than, let me tell you, as heavy as those bags were, it was way more than one.
Mm.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, it was awful. Yep. Because I told
Okay.
Robin, I said,
So what
go.
did you do? Did you do your civic duty and contact the store or the popo?
I contacted somebody, yes, mainly
Okay, I
because I'm
figured as much.
concerned that
The guy
this
could be
person,
high.
well,
The person.
there's no way they couldn't have been.
Sure.
It was awful. Yeah, it was real bad, and it just makes me nervous. My kids ride up and down these streets. My grandson drives.
That's right.
He's in a car. He's 8,
Right.
but he's a passenger in a car. I don't want anybody under any influence on the roads with my family out there. I just don't, or my loved ones, my friends, our listeners. Nobody. I mean, marijuana will make you under the influence, people. I know, you think it won't, but it will. And you
Yes, it
don't need
will.
to be behind the wheel of a car. And I'm
No.
telling you, my grocery bags reeked. It was
Mm,
bad.
mm.
Well, we
So,
all have a mutual friend who's an attorney right here in Jacksonville that was T-boned last
I know.
night.
I saw it. Yeah.
And
really?
yes, his vehicle was struck by another vehicle, and the other driver had no
No
insurance.
insurance.
That
And I don't
happens.
understand how that could be, because the other driver, he said, was military. But how did he get a base sticker?
Well, it
They
might
don't have
his
base stickers
Well,
anymore.
that's true, but you
That's
still have to
true.
register your car on base.
All you have to do is when you drive onto the base is show a valid military ID.
They don't have, but I thought you still had to register your vehicle
You
with
used to
PMO.
have to, but
I do not know whether you have to do that or not, but there
it's
are a whole lot of, civilian retirees,
Mhm.
civilian federal retirees for law enforcement. These kinds of people still have base access, and all they do is drive up, flash their ID, and they're scanned.
Yeah. No, this was an active duty person, but yeah, a
Well,
young
either way.
person. Yeah.
So I don't
he
know
could have
whether he
had
has
it
to
at the
register his
time
car
and
or
it
not.
expired.
Could have
He didn't
expired,
renew
but
it.
yeah. All you don't have to do is go to his command.
Yeah, yes.
I'd be calling the
Dr. Rose will
command.
be coming up in a minute right after
Yep,
the
we
break,
gotta take
right?
our break. Yep, let's take our 60 seconds Fox News break. We're live in local real talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM WSME. Okay, we are back. Top of the hour. And we
Yeah, there it goes. Hey, I got a weird one here
go for
before
it.
Doctor gets on.
Yeah.
I'm just reading this cold, so I haven't reread it too much.
Mhm.
19-year-old woman, she's asking a federal court to allow her to watch her father's death by ejection. In Missouri law, barring anyone under 21 from witnessing an execution, her daddy is going to be executed,
Mhm.
and she wants to watch it.
I always thought
Faces,
family members were allowed, but maybe that
if
law
you're
applies
under,
to them
it
too.
says you have to be 21.
Hmm.
I
Interesting.
don't know about that. Things on
He's going
both
to be
sides.
executed the 29th. He's on the schedule for execution the 29th for killing a Missouri police officer back in 2005.
Oh wow.
See, that's part of what's wrong with our system anyway.
Yeah.
You're convicted of it. You failed the first appeal process, which they're automatic, and then the second appeal process, and then anything with extenuating circumstances that some lawyer can dig up out of the Netherlands. Uh, and years later, here we are, almost 20 years later, he's finally going to meet his maker. Um, that's a process that we need to correct anyway.
Yeah.
North Carolina, we're headed now for a decent control of North Carolina's legislature. That should be high on the priority of list of things to get done. Reinstitute the death penalty. Let's get on with the program.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with that.
Anyway,
I don't know.
all
I
right.
wonder if they'll allow her. I don't know. I bet they won't. I
Well,
mean,
there's a law against
yeah,
it.
that's what I'm
so
saying.
they
They'll,
would
they'll
have to
use that
give-
law. Yeah.
Now, whether it's so, if it says under 21,
Mm-hmm.
that's Missouri law.
Yeah.
Well, under 21, you can now vote. Of course, you can serve in the military. You can do all sorts of things except
Yeah.
drink.
Good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And so, if you're maybe that's what they're trying to do is overturn that law
I don't know.
completely.
Yeah. Well, did you see Virginia is trying to pass a bill where voters can be 16 and vote in local elections?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, good God!
That's what I said. That's what I just said to Lee on the break. It popped up on my thing. I'm like, oh, this is so not a good idea.
I haven't even
Right.
gotten over the 18-year-old stuff yet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When I came along, you had to be 21 to be able to vote.
There's Dr. Rose.
Okay, we got Dr. Rose. Good morning, Dr. Rose. How are you?
I'm doing well. How is everybody?
morning.
Good. And we have Rayford on too.
Updates on Mr. Rayford?
Yes, ma'am. We got all three of us in here. How are you doing?
Oh, there's the man himself. I'm doing well. It's good to have you back.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm not in the studio. I'm in my own little satellite studio. I'm in a recliner chair. I've got a heating pad on my neck. I've got my doggy over here in my lap. I've got my computer going, and I'm just sitting back, fat and sassy.
Mhm.
And my nurse just bought me a whole bottle full of pills to take, so I got my morning pills there waiting for me.
Oh, that sounds good. It is good to have your voice back then.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's we're here, and I'm recovering. I don't even know. Did you know what occurred?
Yeah, she knows.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I'm very grateful that everything went well and we have our Rayford back. So it's one of the things
I'll tell you
I'm
what,
going to give thanks for.
Yes.
I got to give some kudos to the medical profession. Sometimes we go the other route, but I can tell you what, I watched firsthand with amazement and a lot of, I guess, fear. An entire team of medical folks from the EMS personnel, they are medical, from the EMS personnel all the way to the pilots that got my butt hoisted, jacked up, and sent to New Bern, where testing began immediately. And a few days later, after stabilization took place, and then it was time for a quadruple bypass. And I felt blessed. That was on a Friday, and Wednesday I walked out of the place.
Amazing.
So glad
Less
that
than-
everything
less
worked
than 2
out.
weeks ago.
We all are.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, we got some really good teams of really professional folks out there. So glad we got them.
Very nice. I think that's something that we can be thankful for. You have good healthcare providers, good doctors, uh, a good therapist. Make sure you thank them. Make sure you thank God for their presence in your lives, and show your kids that there are so many different things to be thankful for. But one of the things is the people that take care of our health.
Yeah, for sure, no doubt about that. And I'm so healthy right now. I went out yesterday. Now I rode. I was driven. I sat in the back seat because there are airbags in the front seat. That's one of the things I found out. They don't want you to ride in the front seat until you get your chest starts growing back together. So I had that little thing. But we went out. We got 4 bushels of oysters yesterday. I didn't have to even pick up one. And we're cooking oysters, deep frying a turkey, mashed potatoes with lots of gravy, and homemade chili. It's going to be venison chili.
Trying to get that cholesterol up, huh?
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, cholesterol is actually pretty good.
Well, we're good for another 20 years, so let's get the cholesterol up.
Yeah, my cholesterol has always been pretty good. I'm on a pill because I had a heart attack in 1999, but my cholesterol was good at that time. Still, it has always been good. So that's the good thing. I eat healthy.
That's probably what keeps you so sharp.
I do take a little splurge from time to time, and I eat accordingly. But you know what? By and large, day in and day out, I'm a relatively healthy eater.
That is good. Those are good examples for kids as well. So, what do you guys then having your Oyster Fest tomorrow? That's your Thanksgiving, huh?
Well, it's been a family tradition around here, my family. Well, I mean, a lot of folks down east in the southeastern part of North Carolina along the coast, a lot of folks have oyster roast and steamed oysters on Thanksgiving Day. That's been part of the thing, kind of like the old Thanksgiving Day thing. By the way, turkey was not the primary. I don't think there was any turkey for the first Thanksgiving. That came along later on. You know what the prevalent food was for Thanksgiving in the original Thanksgiving?
Fish?
I want to hear about it.
I would say deer.
Venison,
Yeah.
deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Deer.
So hence my deer chili that I'll be preparing tomorrow.
Oh, very nice.
Well, look at you being all historical.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oysters and venison, and I threw in some deep fried turkey just for giggles.
You gonna dress in a pilgrim outfit?
I'll pay
Right.
to see that.
Hang in there for that one.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Rose, what's going on in the pediatric world of healthy or sickness?
I think it's somewhere in between, and hopefully because the children are going to be out of school, there'll be less of them sick by Monday. We've had a good amount of flu, quite a good amount of flu, but we haven't had any COVIDs that were positive at our office. I've heard of some becoming positive, but we haven't had any that have tested from our kids, and we're still testing some. But mostly the flu. We got a lot of strep. So lots of hand washing, and please, if your kids are sick, forego Thanksgiving this year. We don't need to get grandma, granddad, auntie, uncle sick. That's how you increase the numbers of sick people, is by not staying home. They'll miss you, but they'll like being well more than they will miss you. So just be kind to other people by staying home and having a little Thanksgiving at home if your children or you are sick.
I agree with that.
So I saw this list, and I was going to ask you, tell me if this is accurate. It was listing the most common childhood illnesses, and I just was curious, is this really, and it came from Wake Forest Pediatrics, but I'm curious if this is what you would consider the top. I think there's 10. Number 1, common cold. Number 2, ear infections. Number 3, influenza. Number 4, bronchitis. Number 5, RSV. Number 6, my computer's slow. Hand, foot, mouth disease, which has been going around here lately the past couple months. Number 7, conjunctivitis. Number 8, gastroenteritis, which it says it's stomach flu. I've never heard it called that. Number 9, sinusitis, and number 10, strep throat. Would you say those are the top 10 kid illnesses?
I would say that those are the top 10. I wouldn't say that necessarily the order is correct. They interchange themselves, but I think that that's a pretty comprehensive list. And just remember, the kids can have symptoms of their stomach being upset with just about any of those, so that the kids' bellies will get sick and demonstrate like having a stomach flu with even a strep throat. So when your kid has a stomach virus, don't just assume that that's what it is. Many times it's the manifestation of the flu or strep or something else. So keep a close eye on them, or even like food poisoning.
Yeah, food poisoning is rough. Had that before. But I did not know that like strep can sometimes manifest originally with like stomach upset. I did not know that.
Yep, especially in children. They will complain that their belly hurts. Remember, kids swallow a lot of their drainage and their mucus, and so that goes straight into their stomach and it'll upset their stomach.
And what about childhood asthma? That wasn't on here. Is that just a
Oh my! Unless they were only talking about infectious diseases,
Maybe
which
so.
look like most of those things.
Okay.
But asthma is a really big thing, and of course, any of those illnesses can trigger your asthma symptoms, except for the pink eye.
Yeah.
That won't do it. But anything else on that list will pretty much be able to trigger asthma symptoms.
Yeah.
Dr. Rose, I had a gentleman talking to me the other day about he contracted RSV. Now he's an adult, and he said he called it something else in adults. I forgot what it was, but I cannot find any other thing that RSV, even in adults, is referred to as. I think he ended up with pneumonia, which I understand is one of those possibilities if you have RSV.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. I don't know any other term except for its true word, which that's true. The term for it is actually respiratory syncytial virus. So I don't know, and then it was too long a terminology, so we just called it RSV. So I don't know any other term, but it pretty much causes in adults the same symptoms as bronchitis, or very similar as bronchitis. Maybe sometimes a little bit more severe than bronchitis, with some asthma symptoms as well. And it can leave some scarring on your lungs. So this is not just a disease of kids. It's just that the children that are toddlers and younger than that are the ones that have the most complications. But adults can definitely have very bad symptoms, and it definitely can put them in the hospital. And the same thing goes with the flu. When you hear about somebody doing poorly or being hospitalized, or even passing away because they had the flu, it was usually the secondary symptoms, not just the flu symptoms, but the fact that they had pneumonia or some other type of infection that made them really, really sick.
I would assume that RSV would be pretty critical if you've got COPD. If you're a COPD patient, a victim there, that RSV would not be doing you any favors.
You are completely correct. You would probably have the same symptoms as a child that is under 2 months of age and get very sick, and you could get pneumonia. So it's best to stay away from your grandchildren if you have COPD or any kinds of heart and lung disease like that. If they have RSV, or even if they have the flu, same thing can happen to your lungs.
Well,
Doc, you've got a good Thanksgiving plan?
I do. We're having dinner. We're not making it at home. We're eating out. We belong to a little club in Greensboro, so we're going to take it easy, go over there, hold hands, and look at each other in the eyes.
This works. Good for you.
Dr. Rose, I want to bring up something real quick before we go. I know that RSV has been particularly rough this year, especially in North Carolina, and I've seen a lot of things out there about cautioning people, especially because it's hitting babies very hard. And my coworker's grandson was like 3 months old and was hospitalized for it. But and I've seen things where people are saying, don't kiss babies, don't touch babies' faces. Is that something that's recommended even for small children, to try to combat the RSV for this season?
Well, I hadn't necessarily. It makes sense to not touch their faces, or if you go to church and you might have a little bit of a tickle in your throat, it's best to stay away from the kids and wave at them from a little bit of a distance, because you don't know what you're passing them on to. You It might be a cold for them. It might be the flu or RSV or some other virus that'll really get them sick. I tell the parents that during this time, the kids that are 6 months and younger, to maybe seclude yourself or go to online virtual church, just because the risk for a little one, especially if they have any heart and lung conditions, is much, much higher. So, us older people love babies and we want to touch them and we want to kiss them. I think it's best as a precaution not to right now. I don't know that's, that should be a hard and fast rule, but I think that's definitely, the more the kid gets kissed at church or somewhere, that there are a whole bunch of people that are going to want to be around that child, the more chances he or she has of being sick.
If I had a baby these days, that would not be happening.
Yeah,
I would be the great protector.
Yep, same. Yeah.
No, keep the
And
hands
talking
away.
about babies, Dr. Rose, I know a couple that had a baby a week old and they had it in a stroller out trick-or-treating.
Oh,
Now-
my word.
Now,
What?
yes.
Oh,
Now, let
my
me ask
word.
you, at what age is advisable to keep that baby inside until they get to, a certain age, or you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I'm actually, when I see a baby that I think is about 2 weeks old or even 4 weeks old, and they're out and about, during this time of year, craft fairs and the activities, I'm surprised and a little aghast, because babies don't really build up their immunity until they're 2 months of age. So that's the time that I tell them, well, keep the child mostly inside. You can take him outside on a warm or not so cold day to let him get exposed to the sunlight, but try to keep him away from kids, away from big crowds. Surely your children, that's okay. That helps them build immunity, being in contact with a small group of other people. But since they have no immunity and they have to build that, to overload their immune system is not a good idea. So 8 weeks is usually when I tell them not to go ahead and, just go on out and go to all the parties and whatever it is that you might have going on. But 8 weeks is a good time where you can start exposing that child more and more. That's why a long time ago, this is sort of historic, moms and the child would stay at home together until the 6-week period, because the child was rather defenseless, and the mom needed time for her reproductive system to cure. And so the 6 to 8 week period was a very hard and fast rule about mom and child going out. And I think that was wise.
I agree. I was that
you
way
see
with
newborn
my kids.
babies in the strollers in the grocery
I
stores.
just
and
can't.
I'm just like, why?
So if any parents are out there, or grandparents or aunts, uncles, whoever, don't let your family member take their newborn out and about. I mean, there's a lot of sickness out there right
There
now.
is.
Miss Kelly, they are going to do what they're going to do. It doesn't matter if
So
I talk
frustrating.
until I'm blue in the face.
Yep.
I can give them all the advice.
Yep.
But
Oh, I
young
imagine.
people are very stubborn. That's good and that's bad. They
Yeah.
think that they know it all. That doesn't matter how many times I tell them that that's not a good idea in the office. They're going to do what they're going to do. You can give them the advice, and hopefully they will take it. But they're just going to do what they're going to do. But hopefully some young moms or grandparents out there are listening to what I'm saying, and they're going to take it home and say it in the kind way. So hopefully it gets in there.
Correct. I agree with that. Yes, absolutely.
And I wanted to give my last little plug for Thanksgiving traditions,
Okay.
just to make sure that you have them in your home as the kids are growing up. They will remember them, and that will make their memory so much better, and they will carry on some of those traditions, whatever that is. Maybe tell the Thanksgiving story. Get a really good book. Bill Bennett has a great, what is that? Adventures in Virtues, the Book of Virtues, and he has a great Thanksgiving story in there. if you can get something like that going and you do it every year, maybe before the meal, and you sit around the fireplace or something, and you tell the story about what Thanksgiving is really about, and maybe each person says, what are they thankful for? And you'll hear some really crazy things. But that is a great tradition, and it's a great thing to start the holiday season with, and it will stay in children's minds. And we need that in America today.
I agree. That's
Amen.
the
For
good
sure.
advice. Yes.
Dr. Rose, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Thank you for
safe.
all of your time that you spend with me. I really enjoy it.
No, we
Right.
thank you.
No,
do
we,
too.
yes.
We learn a lot
We
from
thank you.
and we will talk to you next week.
Talk to you next week.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, let's take a break. We're live in local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. When we come back, we'll do weather.
Oh, all right.
And we are back.
Hey, coming up today and through part of the weekend here at Tideline Marine in Jacksonville, there's some giveaways going on. First thing, stop by today at Tideline Marine, sign up for a drawing. The drawing is going to be on Friday. I do it today. I don't know what time exactly on Friday the drawing's going to be. If you get there at 8:30 Friday morning, you'll have time, but we know what can happen with schedules. If you run by today while you're out and about, sign up. There's a free Florida Fishing Products fishing reel going to be given away on Friday. Also, Black Friday, you can get $10 off on any of the Florida Fishing Products reels. And Friday and Saturday. Friday and Saturday now, buy 2 Power Pole Pro Series 8-foot black ones, get $200 off. This is for in-stock items only. Also on Friday and Saturday, $100 off any in-stock trolling motors. There's all sorts of gift shop opportunities there, including a free gift for every $20 spent at the gift shop and 20% off all gift shop items at Tideline Marine. That's at 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville.
And your marine forecast today, north winds 10 to 15 knots, becoming northeast around 15 knots this afternoon. Seas 2 to 4 feet, dominant period 8 seconds. Adjacent sounds and rivers with a moderate chop. Tonight, northeast winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet, dominant period 6 seconds. Thursday, northeast winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet, dominant period 6 seconds. And Friday, southeast winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 4 to 5 feet, except 3 to 4 near the shore.
Today it's going to start off cloudy and then become sunny with a high of 65. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 44. Tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day, partly sunny, high of 67. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 52. And it's going to rain on Friday with a high of 69.
Republicans are going to take over the U.S. House of Representatives in about 6 weeks, right after the first of the year. Republican leader Kevin McCarthy, likely, or I guess we can say possibly, the guy that will become the next Speaker of the House, out with Pelosi either way. He's called for Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas to resign over his handling of the migrant crisis at the southern border, or potentially face an impeachment inquiry after the first of the year. Representatives Jim Jordan and James Comer, the ranking Republicans of the Judiciary and Oversight Committees, agree with McCarthy. And guess what? So do I. In fact, this whole mess with our border is the subject of my commentary today. It'll be a different commentary, as I told you earlier. I want my co-hosts, Kelly and Lee, to be an interactive part. Like I said, it's a little bit different. After listening to us discuss it, I'll open the phone line and discuss it internally. That we will discuss it. I'll then open the phone lines to see what you think, whether you agree or disagree. Do not send our phone lines into outer space until we finish. No interruptions, please. You might not want to try and put a spin on the numbers either. The numbers are accurate. And just accept my definition of illegal aliens. This is because I have opinions, and these are my opinions. I refer to them as illegal aliens. No need to try and nitpick or add distraction or deflect from that. It's my definition, and you can call the blue sky pink if you want. A drug cartel war has reached a new level of evil. Unchecked, 2 major cartels have been at war with each other for years. In less than a month, the past month, Mexican authorities, seemingly in a standoff with all cartels, have recovered 53 bags of human remains from a massive grave site. The search began in October when a dog carrying a human hand strolled through a town in a state that I cannot even and will not attempt to pronounce. It's a state that has more murders than any of the other 31 Mexican states. What is going on, and why should we care? Well, a growing number of Biden supporters who advocate opening borders to most anyone who wants to come to the United States are having second thoughts these days. When cornered by reporters, Biden and Harris regularly deflect the questions, blaming Trump for the mess we're in. Democrats in the early stages of the Obama administration blamed George W. Bush, claiming at the time that he was too weak enforcing the laws of this land. One of those Democrats, none other than Chuck Two-Face Schumer. The thing is, Schumer and like-minded Democrats were right. Not just when they blame Bush. This border crisis goes way back. Our lack of effective enforcement of our nation's laws has resulted in millions upon millions of illegal aliens working in this country, costing millions of dollars in lost taxes. I've seen firsthand illegals working on construction jobs, being paid in cash at the end of each week by the so called handler, also known as the foreman, primarily because the contractor did not speak Spanish. How much of that money under the table was taxed? Well, duh. First thing you saw in those days were the illegals hightailing it to the post office or Western Union at the end of the week. They would wire their money back home for a nominal fee or mail actual cash to a recipient across the border. Well, the United States tightened up on that. More checks and balances were put in place, and for a while, at least, it became more difficult. Now, all the US based worker has to do is open a checking account in the United States, deposit the cash, and those on the receiving end with debit cards for the amount are home free. Of course, other than a loss of revenue and jobs going to illegals because the lazy Americans demand too much, and honestly, it's just too much trouble for small contractors to take care of the paperwork that would prove they're hiring illegal aliens, which in itself incriminates themselves. Then there is the drug problem. It's reached epidemic proportions. Killer drugs like fentanyl are flooding into the U.S., seemingly with a smaller amount getting seized every year. Larger quantities head for the border, and while it's a great dog and pony show when a tractor trailer load is seized and the foreign national driver is detained until he can be deported, not imprisoned, just imagine how many big rigs sailed right on by that one rig that was sidelined. But the people on the left say that the illegals swarming our borders are not drug smugglers. Let's say for a minute that you have a point and that you're part right. So what? They're illegals. And personally, I don't care about the conditions in their countries that they consider oppressive. When our forefathers fought back against Great Britain because we were being taxed for things like tea, we had no say. So whatever happened in the British government, we didn't have a say in it. We didn't have any representation. What did we do? We went to war to win our independence. True, it was a different time, and those who chose not to support England were as well prepared, apparently better prepared, than the British Army was at the time. It's not beyond the capabilities of these millions of people to join forces. Imagine an international army of multiple Central and South American countries teaming up, working deals with the US for guns, perhaps, to start walking through oppressive nations one by one and removing the governments. I am all for immigration, but first it has to be legal. There must be a cap on the number of people this country can handle any given year. That will be a fluid number. There are years when we have to tighten our belts, and you'll have to be patient. But flooding our borders, demanding to be part of this country, is the worst PR stunt that you can do. Sooner or later, not that it's not already happening, the residents in the border towns are going to form their own security forces and stop illegal entry, not into the U.S., but onto their personal property. Now, that is a border war we don't want to see happen. But if it was my property, you might find Mexico and its drug cartels safer places to hide. Somehow we take pride and swoon when the 49ers and Cardinals took their American football game to a country that backs drug cartels. Yes, the two American teams played in Mexico this week. Why? Aren't there enough U.S. cities with football stadiums to handle the crowd? Mexico has done nothing to slow down the flow of illegal aliens from South and Central American countries. In fact, from countries all over the world, from crossing from Central America into the United States. Those illegals are aided by drug cartels, a fact that Mexico knows, but they're doing nothing about it. Mexico's police departments, including their federales, are a joke. Unless you're an American Marine driving across country to his duty station in California and accidentally turns onto a side road that he thought was a shortcut, not so bad except for three things: American, Marine, and he had his personal rifle that he was taken to his new home. He was tossed in jail. And if you don't like jails in the U.S., try one of those cells in Mexico. It took a lot of pressure to get the Marine released. Nothing showed that he had done anything wrong except take a wrong turn. Meanwhile, the drug wars continue. Mexico continues to do nothing unless the government likes one cartel over the other. Again, I ask, why would two American football teams even agree to play a game there? Something's wrong. Did any of the football players think about taking a knee when the Mexican national anthem was played? I would dare say not. That's my turn.
Well, you're not wrong at all about
I was
any
hoping
of it.
for a fight.
No, I'm not going to
No.
argue that.
I think
Um,
what we're faced with right now is immigration has become a partisan wedge
Mhm.
issue within Congress, and that's where we stand at now. It's just a constant fight between the sides in the country.
And to be honest, Mexico is run by the cartels.
Yes.
And
Of
they
course
have
it
so
is.
much power and influence, and they just do what they want. And what's people are not understanding is how that influence is spreading over to here.
Can you imagine the voter intimidation when the cartels show up on voting day?
Oh yeah, there's yeah,
Would
absolutely.
you? I mean, you know bloody well they have access to the ballots.
Oh, absolutely, they do.
Can you
sure.
imagine
Yeah.
walking in and say, "I'm going to vote for this guy," even though because he's against the cartels and he's promised to do something about the cartels,
Mhm.
and so they pull my ballot as I walk through, see how I voted, and let's see what happens to me next.
Correct.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, I agree, 100%. And I'm not going to argue with anything you said.
No, we're at an all-time 21-year high right now
Hmm.
with this. So
Mhm.
immigrants
So-
coming over.
Do you think that? I mean, like I said, this is not a. It becomes a partisan fight, but it is not a partisan issue. The one side, whoever's in power, blames the other side for the
Exactly.
problem at the border.
Hmm.
They did it before. Now the Republicans are blaming the Democrats for it. The Democrats blame the Republicans for it. I mean, back in time to whenever.
Hmm.
And in the meantime, nothing gets done.
No, nothing gets done.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
Trump
nothing gets done.
instilled that Title 42, Chapter 42 on and keeping them from coming in during the coronavirus epidemic. But a judge has recently overturned that because he said there is no epidemic anymore, so we can't use the Title 42. So it's just, and then you have independent governors. If he's a Republican, he's building the walls. He's a Democrat, he's tearing it down.
Uh, the federal government is charged with protecting our borders. That's one of the things our federal government is responsible for doing, protecting our borders.
Hmm.
They have failed miserably to secure the borders along the southern part of the United States. They have failed miserably to do that. The Coast Guard catches them offshore. Do you hear anybody screaming and hollering? How many people screaming and hollering because the Coast Guard grabs them up and takes them back and dumps them back where they came from? No. Why don't we do the same thing along the land border? What's
Yeah.
the problem here?
I agree.
These other people fleeing Haiti, they're claiming that Haiti is an awful, terrible place. It is. I've been there. It's an awful place. But why is it up to the United States to be the place where everybody else in the world can come to? It's bad enough being the world's police force.
Hmm.
That's awful that we have to do that. But we painted ourselves into a corner
Wow.
and we haven't gotten out.
I agree. And let's take a break.
Okay.
We're live in Local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1128 AM WSME. We'll be right back. And we're back.
Yes, right before you know
Yeah,
it, we're right back.
got an update on that breaking news up in Chesapeake, Virginia, too,
Yes.
at the Walmart store. Shooting last night, a mass shooting, beginning about 10 o'clock. 6 people were killed, and according to law enforcement now,
Mm.
one of the store's workers was a shooter,
Mm-hmm.
and then he also shot himself.
Yep.
He was not known to police prior to this. One of the other store employees that was interviewed by TV outside said that the guy was a manager. They got different level managers, of course, in
Right.
all of the Walmart stores. Was a manager and had become disgruntled, and that he just started going through shooting people.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
6 others dead and several wounded, and and police are now saying there's no danger to the public at large. The threat has been resolved. That's a shame. He used a handgun, by the way. He didn't have an AR-15 or anything like that.
Right.
He used a pistol. Um, and man, man. It'll be interesting to see what kind of background the guy does have, um, which will be coming out over the next few days, no doubt about it. Friends and relatives, perhaps, and pretty much everybody else will have things to say.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a shame.
Yes,
It's
they
a
will.
tragedy.
It is a tragedy.
is a
It's a
tragedy.
senseless act.
Yeah.
Senseless.
And it made more tragic anytime it happens when it's happening near,
a
a
holiday.
time of celebration,
Right.
like Thanksgiving, and stressful times for a lot of folks too, by the way. So, Kelly, that's your neck of the woods.
It is.
People stress out because they have to go spend a lot of money because they hear somebody is spending money on them for Christmas, and they have to do this and have to do that. There's so much pressure involved.
Well, it is. I mean, a lot of people are very the holidays can be a very stressful time for people, um, especially with the way it is so commercialized now, and
Yeah.
even trying to outdo each other and trying to outdo the neighbors with the decorations and trying to find that quote perfect gift um, and then for some people they've had tragic events happen around the holidays. It's a reminder of that as well. So it's
Yeah,
not always, I mean, and it's, depending on where you live, it's colder and it's gets dark earlier, and that contributes as well to a person that may be suffering from depression and anxiety.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
we can all get through this, and if we just stop bowing down and kowtowing to the pressures of both the retail world.
Mhm.
Sorry, folks. Yeah, go out and buy things for folks if you want to. Make things for folks if you want to. Kids, you can make things for your parents, your
Mhm.
siblings, or whatever. And if you're like some folks, they may get out and do a bunch of candy or
Yeah,
preserves of
so many
this or
things you
that.
can do. Make a box of
And
cookies and
absolutely.
People love
Yeah.
food.
I would
Oh,
rather have a homemade present,
Yeah.
oh God,
something
yes.
Mhm.
that somebody's made,
Mhm.
even if it's baking
Because
items,
it's effort.
it's effort. And
Uh-huh.
I just think it's
I
more
agree.
it's
Mhm.
just great.
Mhm. All right, Rayford, we got to take a
Yeah.
break. Our last break of the morning.
Yes.
Take us away, Rayford.
You're live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m., WSME. We'll be right back.
All right, Rayford, you there?
Yes,
All right,
ma'am, I'm
we-
here, and I got a couple things to say real quick. Like, first of all, Vidalia onion pie. I'm looking at the recipe. Okay,
Okay.
it needs an onion. They prefer Vidalias or any sweet onion will do.
Right.
Frozen pie crust, whole milk or like a half and half.
Mm-hmm.
Shredded sharp cheddar cheese. I can also use jalapeno jack cheese, onion, salt, and black pepper. Now, ladies,
That's
if
very
I
easy.
cook this stuff up, are y'all gonna try it, Lee,
I
Kelly?
will.
Okay,
I'm
good.
not.
I
Now,
will.
I got my wife here kind of looking at me like, you're weird.
I'm with
What do
Robbie.
you think?
Yeah.
No, I think that'd be great.
No.
Sounds
I-
good to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
sounds good to
and
me
she doesn't
too.
like pie, so we might even have to give that one a whirl.
No, see,
We want
that's
to
a
tell these
healthy
people that I'm
pie.
being a decent patient.
It's a healthy pie.
He's a semi-decent patient.
Yeah, no.
So I'll take that. I'm a semi-decent patient these days.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
Okay.
that's I'm liking that. I always wanted
Yeah,
to
it
try
sounds
that.
interesting.
All right, we
We'll
have a
give it a
caller
whirl.
holding. Good,
Okay, who's that?
Good morning, caller. Who's this?
Hey guys, it's Steve. How y'all doing this
Good
morning?
morning.
I was waiting patiently. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to call in yet, if we were to that part of the show, but I figured I better or I was going to miss it.
Yeah, we wrapped up. Go ahead.
I got you. I just wanted to call and say hey and tell y'all to have a happy Thanksgiving tomorrow, and it's great to hear you, Rayford. I'm glad you're doing well, friend, and glad you're coming through it well, man.
Yeah, we're hanging in
warms
there.
my heart.
One of these days, I'm gonna get out to you well enough to get out there to Swansboro when you're hanging around some of the
That's right.
places, so I can listen to some live music.
I'm anxious.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
And happy birthday to you.
But now look, I'm gonna poke you now. Look, you're gonna have to act a little like Joe Biden. You need to listen to your wife, and you need to do what she says.
I actually do.
Oh, he got you on that one, Rayford.
Well, I know, but you know, sometimes you act like that married people don't do that. But you know, I wanted to make sure that you do. You know, you listen to your wife.
No, I listen to her. You know, otherwise.
I've been married 28 years. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I didn't even pick out what color underwear I'm wearing today.
Oh, and
When
happy
did you start wearing
birthday.
underwear?
Oh, my God.
That might be too much information, but I mean, that's just how I live. You know. She's like, honey, I put your stuff in the bathroom. I'm like, thank you, baby. And to the shower I go.
That's the way it works. You know, if you just stick to high tidy whites, you don't have to worry about it.
No.
I found that my life was much easier once I started letting him make my decisions.
That's right.
Okay, well, I'd let that happen too as much as possible.
Have you got a nice
That was it.
plans for her today?
And I want to wish my wife a happy birthday today, by the way, while I'm on here. Today is her birthday. I won't say how old she is, but she's the same age as me.
18. She's now not old enough to vote, is what you're saying, right?
She's almost there.
There you go.
Awesome.
But
Well,
yeah,
happy birthday to her. And
Yeah.
Stephen, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
you too as well. Y'all have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye, Steve.
Bye.
We're going to be off on Friday, folks. Again,
Yes.
we're going to take the day off, live and local show. We generally don't do that, but we're going to exercise a little extra opportunity this year to do it,
Yes,
and
we've got
we'll
plans
make up for it
too. So
after Monday.
that's right.
We'll give you twice as much for half the cost on Monday. How's
That's
that?
right.
We have one more caller holding. Good morning, caller. Who's this?
Oop.
Hello? Okay, well, we did. We don't now. Okay. We had a caller.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. Kelly, you're going home to see Mama.
Yep.
Give her our best.
Yep.
Yes, I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving and keep safety in mind. Safety first. Be careful
Yeah,
when you're
safe.
cooking those turkeys.
Yep. Absolutely. Be careful when you're cooking the turkeys and whenever you're doing anything else.
That's right.
Just be safe out there. And we've all got
Absolutely.
things to be thankful for,
Yes.
whether you know it or not. And some years you got more to be thankful for.
Well, I'm very thankful for all my family and friends. I think I have the best friends than anybody could ever want.
All right, Robbie, you had something you want to tell these ladies?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Robbie. You too.
Happy
There we go.
Thanksgiving, Robbie.
She said thank you.
And we'll be seeing you this weekend anyway.
mhm.
So in our travels.
Yep. Okay. Have a great weekend, y'all.
Yeah,
Long
you
extended
too.
weekend. And we will be back on Monday morning right here on Live and Local Real Talk.
Sweet.
Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME.